teams having the final moments to themselves as Mount Pleasant, this is their starting lineup. Sean Paul in goal. In front of him, the back four, Ladale Ritchie, Kevin Lane, Liston James and Sule McCullough. In the middle of the park, Kevon Isaacs, Alwayne Harvey and Gary Mills. Jordan Fletcher, Devontae Campbell and Keslon Hall up front.
Well, it's a good starting lineup. Again, they tend to play the 4-1-4-1 system, and Keslon Hall, and he's always the point person. But Jordan Fletcher, the man who is in that rich vein of form, has 5 goals in his last 5 games, and we know too that Devontae Campbell is always a handful for any fullback that he comes up against.
And as for Waterhouse, we haven't seen them in a while. Goalkeeper Nash, of course, behind Nikolai Finlayson, Elvis Wilson, Kimani Campbell and Ron Beadle in the middle of the park. Ramon Howell, Damian Binns and Denada Thomas behind the 3 up front. Shaquille Bradford, Andre Fletcher and Rafiq Thomas. Bradford and Andre Fletcher, between these two, 10 goals, very dangerous.
Yeah, they are very, very, very dangerous customers, and they're the ones that Mount Pleasant will pay attention to in this 4-3-3 system. Wide players in Fletcher and Bradford still looking to track back. It's amazing that they do all that work but still get that amount of goal amongst them or between them. So yeah.
It's that time again for semi-final action in the Jamaica Premier League powered by Diesel. Mount Pleasant against Waterhouse. They now meet in the first leg here at the Captain Horace Burrell Centre of Excellence at the University of the West Indies Mona campus. Mills Jr., who will be playing in the middle of the park, as well as Devontae Campbell, who has had a couple of outings from the start.
Yes, and had a good goal in his last game. Gave Staple from Harbourview a 3rd time. He was up against him, started that game on the right, switched to the left and took Staple on, and I think Staple after that game would have had nightmares with Campbell being at the centre of it.
So we're off here at the Centre of Excellence. Mount Pleasant with the possession. Lots being asked from this squad. 3rd match in 8 days. So let's see how they'll be able to utilize that situation against the Waterhouse team. Well, they may be just a little bit rusty. Wally Downs looking on at the action.
Well, last time Mount Pleasant lost a game, it was to Waterhouse, and that's the only loss that Coach Downs has on his stat sheet since he took over from Paul Teagle Davis after the Mount Pleasant team lost to Harbourview by 2-0. Marcel Gale there has seen his team. They're in a rest. They were working hard for 2 weeks, but before they went into the rest, they had won 4 games on the bounce. No other team had managed that so far this season. When you look at this Waterhouse team, they're a big threat in the attacking side of the turf here, the field, because when we look at them over the entire season, only Vere has stopped them scoring, and we do know how Vere set up.
Tivoli knew too. Thomas trying to get around his marker. Harvey spring it out wide. Devontae Campbell on it. Could not beat Kimani Campbell. Doubt they are related.
Not at all, but Devroy there couldn't get the better of him. They're looking to use his speed, but as you rightfully said, Kimani read it well and just snuffed out the danger. Devoy Campbell for Mount Pleasant would have, well, he comes from St. James, and I think at one stage was at St. James High. But what a find he has been, or a recoup for Mount Pleasant coming out of their academy and into the first team, and a permanent fixture into this Premier League setup.
Yeah, would have been a part of the under-14 setup at St. James High. Of course, St. James High is also the school of Jamaica's national coach, Theodore Tapper Whitmore. That's Mills, by the way, the other youngster in the squad who would have turned 18 earlier this year, taking the throw for Mount Pleasant. That's not a back turn at all, but the shot from Hall was wayward. It's kept in play, it is. Needs a good delivery. It's not a bad one, that's headed away. And the whistle goes, it's going to be a free kick to Waterhouse.
We do hope that these set of players will light up the afternoon with goals.
Well, here's Waterhouse through Donata Thomas, trying to play that one inside the area. That's not the best headed clearance away from Captain Liddell Ritchie. But here's Jordan Fletcher. Fletcher supplying the ball inside, slightly behind Devontae Campbell. Mount Pleasant still with a chance, and it's into, no, didn't quite even reach the side netting. The shot coming in.
I think it was from Mills. Yes, it was.
Yes, it was from Gary Mills Jr.
And that's one thing with these youngsters, they're not shy to shoot at goal. We saw Campbell getting his first goal against Harborview when he came to that near post and just thumped it past Chambers. We see Mills there looking to put his foot through that one. So they're given a lot of freedom to play in this setup.
They turned 18 this past June, Mills.
And Campbell, Devontae, still 17.
Yep. 18 next month, in fact.
Very good to see, and that's one good thing. Well, not just one, but among the many good things to come out of this season's Premier League powered by Digicel. We see a lot of youngsters right across the landscape of this competition in all of the teams getting their opportunities, and they have not disappointed. You see Mills there.
Needs a new shirt though.
I don't think he would be the one to have worn that and got that number 2 coming out of it.
Hall. McCullough. James on it now. Mills with the run. Gets the corner. No, it's a goal kick, in fact. Yep. Zimor Nash. Going down, needing some assistance from off the bench.
Looks to be some cramps early in this game, or some niggling feeling of pain in the hamstring. Not a good sign to it. I mean, the hamstring is one that is always a concern when you see a player, without being under any challenge, hold on to it. And we'll watch to see how his mobility is affected by that as the game progresses.
Campbell goes long. Thomas picks it up. Actually, he's left it alone. Fletcher.
I think Fletcher just ran out of ideas there.
Yeah.
Wasn't intending to pass.
That's a wonderful ball to Devontae Campbell. He has 2 to aim for inside the box. If he manages to keep it under control, he does. Alwyn Harvey forced to go all the way back to James. Now Isaacs. Yeah, the momentum gone, but they still have the possession, Mount Pleasant. Across to now Sule McCullough. Fletcher, hounded all the time by Beadle. Along the channel, Keslon Hall collects. Nobody there in a white shirt. Bradford looking for an outlet. Couldn't quite find one.
Yeah, I think what we're seeing early in this game too from Mount Pleasant is that they're looking to exploit the weakness in the system of Waterhouse. They're playing a 4-3-3 system, and if players like Fletcher and Bradford do not track back in time because they're so attack-minded, there's always going to be space down the side of that Waterhouse team.
Hall is offside.
And what it does if they can get it down there is to create 1v1 situation with their attacking wide players, Mount Pleasant, in terms of Fletcher and Devontae Campbell. So Waterhouse will be mindful of that, and the runs of Bradford and Fletcher has to be to prevent that pass down that channel. So not necessarily going to the ball directly, but making that arch run to block the pass down the channel.
McCullough finding Keslon Hall. Shielded well. Elvis Wilson doing his job.
I did the job there, but before, when that ball was passed by McCullough down the line, it was Denardo Thomas who came across for Waterhouse and really didn't make an effort to block that pass down the channel. Gave it up.
Isaacs in the way, hounded by Rafiq Thomas. Delightful ball to Devontae Campbell. Campbell just manages to keep it in. Well done. It's with Isaacs. Deflected effort comes across now to Jordan Fletcher. McCullough back to Fletcher. Mills inside. And it's put into touch by the Waterhouse defense.
A lot of runners here coming through from Mount Pleasant, and that ball delightfully played through that half space to Devontae Campbell.
Mills dragged that one wide.
Yeah.
Took a deflection, corner kick.
Yeah, Mills on that occasion really took it nicely and scooped it away from Binns. I think Binns came forward, just nicely took it into his body. Binns was left with a hag on his face, you feel.
Here's Waterhouse coming forward. Andre Fletcher. And he gets a throw.
This is Isaac there going to snuff out the danger, and it was good communication from Richie as he found himself in a recovery run. As he made his way centrally, he communicated to Isaac and tell him he needs to go across because I have this area covered. And that's what a good defensive work is about. It's not just your technique as a defender, but your ability to communicate.
Here's the delivery inside. Oh, the connection was made. And it goes over the top. Shaquille Bradford there coming on the end of that one. Couldn't quite control it.
Well, it's all good that he was under pressure, because I feel if he wasn't, he would have had that one on target. But was pressured all the way. And made to work. I think on that occasion, it was Liston James, who funneled in.
Yeah, from the right back position, right?
Yeah, to become the centre off, and that's what you want with your defensive line. Good shifting.
Nice turn from Jordan Fletcher. Gets a return ball from Hall. Fletcher decides to go goalwards because there was really nobody else inside the box, so he had to do that. McCullough now. Switching the play. Too much on it though.
Yeah, he felt he needed to put a lot of weight behind it, but even from such distance was too much. And we see where James couldn't get to it. But another good thing that we're seeing also from this Mount Pleasant team, creating overloads once they get the ball down the channel, and that is why it's important for Waterhouse to prevent the ball down the channel.
Hall sending Campbell the other way. Still with possession though, Mount Pleasant. Fletcher collects. Looking for the passing option. Cutting inside. Isaac's thinking of the shot.
Needed a lot more patience there. I think Devontae Campbell was out wide that he could have played it as well. So that's one thing with players. I mean, good possession, good in good areas of the park. You need to just be composed, patient.
Thomas now on it. Ball played out wide. Corner kick.
There's a good open flow to this game, Donald, for both teams. I think the defensive coaches will be pleased with a lot of what they've seen, but a lot of balls breaking lines and getting both teams in the attacking third. Mount Pleasant leading the way in that respect.
Corner kick to Waterhouse. At the near post, deflected across. And it's going to be another corner kick. That was close. That was really close.
I think it's as close as you can get to the ball not going on the goal line. I mean, it just needed a tap in from some player of Waterhouse there. None of them close enough.
Did Harvey get the final touch there? Maybe. Not the corner kick. This one sent in at the back post. It's driven across again. They managed to clear. Andre Fletcher doing the work there over on the far side.
Yeah, so Waterhouse causing some problems for Mount Pleasant on the set pieces. Not really alert and marking up properly in that penalty box area.
Here they come. Oh, he has some space to work with, you know. Then he was quickly crowded out on that occasion.
Once he switched it back from the left foot to the right.
So the chance of Waterhouse, and that goes high. We're on Beadle there. We've seen him score some spectacular goals. Rohan Beadle.
Yeah, on that occasion just need a decent ball into the box. Just in the danger area to encourage his players to get onto the end of it. Still with Waterhouse, you feel with those balls into the box, they could commit a little bit more, but they might be mindful because when the season started, they were scoring a lot of goals. Marcel Gale's team doing well, but they were always seeming to concede and giving up points from winning positions. I think their lack of players into the box, or more players into the box than we've seen so far in this game, is because it's a conscious effort by them to really have a more balanced approach, not be too vulnerable when they're on the attack.
Thomas playing it forward. That's not a bad turn. He was trying to find Fletcher, who had gone across to make his way inside the area. Mount Pleasant with the majority of the possession. But Waterhouse there just coming into their own in the last few minutes though, closing that gap. Beadle. Still Beadle. Weren't on the same wavelength just now.
Yeah, but
Thomas and Bradford.
Yeah, but that would concern Mount Pleasant a bit. The fact that they were able to get those passes in between the tight defensive lines. But I'm feeling that Lane and Richie are already recognizing that this Waterhouse team is a different proposition to the team they played in Harbourview in that quarterfinal games. So Mount Pleasant looking to push that defensive line higher and just squeeze this Waterhouse team on this throw-in, wanting them to come out too easy. James gets in a little bit too tight there. The referee didn't like how tight he was. And just wanted to let him know that it's a physical game, but it's just too close.
Waterhouse with the possession. Bradford has it. He's thinking of the shot, you know. Deflected effort over the top. Ramon Howell, never shy to take aim.
I think that was going to trouble Paul in goal for Mount Pleasant. But it's interesting to see how Mount Pleasant deal with this corner kick. Previous two, you felt they showed sign of vulnerability in their attempt to defend it.
Another corner kick to Waterhouse. That's floated inside the area. Couple of players down, and the whistle, of course, goes. It's a free kick given to Mount Pleasant.
Yeah, some good corner kicks taken here by Waterhouse.
Yep, challenging.
Yeah, every time it goes into the box, you feel something is going to happen. Bernardo Thomas has been responsible for a lot of those telling balls into the box.
He's also been lively when he's on the ball as well.
Yeah,
Bernardo Thomas
having a good game so far in the opening 21 minutes of this one.
Here's Bernardo Thomas. 3 goals last year, Thomas. 5 goals in the 2018-2019 season for Waterhouse.
Yeah, not afraid to show for it, not afraid to get on the ball. That speaks to his confidence.
Tripped up on that occasion.
Yeah, good old ball handling skill, just masked that one very well.
Campbell was on his heels there.
I think it was Mills. Mills was the player.
Oh yeah, it's Mills actually, yep.
Maybe, in fairness to him, just too much on it in the end. That's the way to the pass, compounded by the fact that he was not alert enough. Mr. James there looking like he's happy to hear the whistle for the water break.
I think all of them are.
Yes.
They already look a little bit spent. The heat really, of course, is draining.
And it has been a decent flow to the game, you'd want to think. Both teams have had their moments of sustained pressure. But these two teams, we know when they met earlier this season, goals weren't forthcoming early in the game. In fact, Waterhouse had 2 goals in the game to defeat Mount Pleasant by 2-0. First one came in the 77th minute from Kenwar Howell, and the second in the 95th minute. And it was Andre Fletcher to really knock any optimism that Mount Pleasant had in them that they would be able to get something from the game. So that is a guide for us there. Still maybe goes in this one to come.
See Kevin Lane there from Ghana. Actually played his trade in the JFF Elite League for the Ghana Defence Force. Number 21. Actually has been capped 9 times for the senior program in Ghana, as well as 3 times at the under 17 level before. Kevin Lane.
And he's formed a decent partnership with Adele Ritchie.
Indeed he has. Of course, the captain of the Mount Pleasant team.
And we used to see him in the black, gold and green for Jamaica as well.
Actually got his first call-up back in 2015. Making his debut in 2016 though. And actually wore the captain's armband in 2017.
So a true leader he is.
There's Lane from the number 5 ground in Berbice. A ground that his late father would have obviously made really popular with the development of players over the years in Guyana. There's Devontae Campbell now. Has a little space to work with. Decided to cut inside and just ran into some traffic.
Yeah, almost got a lucky bounce there. And looking to penetrate. He is a handful, this young 17-year-old. And the confidence to match as well, because he really, when he gets on the ball, is not shy at all in taking on defenders. That's the case where youthful exuberance is paying off and is a plus for the team that he is a part of, this Mount Pleasant setup. Marcel Gale will be mindful of that and will ask his team to operate in a way that does not give him the type of room that can create issues for them. Good work again from Campbell. As we said, is having a decent game so far. Leonardo Campbell. And the pass there, Mount Pleasant wouldn't be pleased. That one pass broke 2 lines to get to Thomas.
Here's Waterhouse. Now they've lost it. Waterhouse now on the charge. Out wide is Thomas. Thomas, Thomas send this one inside. Howell sends it out wide. Ball pulled across. Big chance! What a save! Really and truly should have been buried by Andre Fletcher. But goalkeeper Shavan Sean Paul holding on.
He would have bet on Fletcher finishing that one. As we said, has been in good form for Waterhouse. Have been responsible for a fair chunk of their goal this season, and once it came here across the box to him, it was Lane who made a mistake there and would have been pleased to see it in the arms of Paul.
Give credit though to the goalkeeper. He came out really quickly.
Yeah, he did, and smothered that shot very quickly and didn't give up a rebound. That was good goalkeeping by him. That was point blank for him to save.
Almost as if he went head first into a grenade just to try and smother it.
I mean, it's the life of goalkeepers. Have to put themselves on the line so often. On that occasion, Siobhan Paul there was a perfect example of that. And Mount Pleasant would owe him a debt there, because it's because of him that this game remains at 0-0.
Fletcher. We have the Thomases, we have the Fletchers, we have the Campbells, opposing teams. Here's one of the Fletchers, the Andre variety for Waterhouse, easily handled there by Kevon Isaacs, whose name stands alone in this matchup.
And Lane would have been certainly happy to see Isaac. The nutmeg from Fletcher on Lane left him in his trail, and he was never going to get back Lane. Certainly not in the Swamps. Choice of Guyana here. He's in the heat of the battle here. Got put to the Dallas Hill in St. Andrew. Lane, he's recognizing that in the semi-finals. It's certainly different proposition as he has experienced in the preliminary round and quarterfinals, and so it should be.
Harvey goes long. Campbell is trying to control.
He's just going to get nothing but effort from this young lad, Devontae Campbell. He'll keep running for as long as he's on the field, and even if his technique is off at some point, you can't say the same about his effort.
Waterhouse trying to progress. Rafiq Thomas, Ramon Howell, Donata Thomas. Back to Howell, or Binns rather.
That one looked to have been on target there. Siobhan Paul not pleased with the fact that Mount Pleasant would have given such space and time for the shot to be taken. Has been called into question a few times and has answered the call. But they don't want to keep allowing Waterhouse to test him.
Yeah, they don't want to be testing fate as well. It's Binns who has gone across to take the corner kick. That's not a bad delivery at all. It's headed away though.
It's Waterhouse's fourth corner of this game. Certainly, as I said, every time the ball into the box is executed by Waterhouse, as we see that infringement there from Harvey. Every time that ball is into the box, it looks dangerous, it looks troublesome for Mount Pleasant.
Yeah, the challenge from behind there on Elvis Wilson.
You see Finlayson over this one. His game too has been adjusted since the start of this.
He goes down inside the box looking for a call there, Shaquille Bradford.
Yeah, it was off the ball. And I felt that his legs were taken from under him.
Rohan Beadle. Thomas. They've lost it in a dangerous position. Fletcher inside the hole. Hole's shot is blocked.
And Fletcher would be happy to see that danger being dealt with by his team, because he did sell his teammate short on the pass. Finlayson, as we said earlier, adjusted his game. Waterhouse, when they found themselves giving up points from winning position, he was at the heart of it. A lot of times being caught out of possession. He's a player who likes to bring the ball out of defence, and when he gets caught, the recovery run is non-existent early in the season. But we see him now looking to play out from the back in terms of passes rather than dribbling, and that has coincided with Waterhouse really going on a decent run.
Taking their time about it. Mount Pleasant.
Yeah, Waterhouse really doing well in terms of blocking the passing lane and really applying pressure. Some triggers to press, and you see they back off again. Just looking for a poor touch or a back pass that the player is running onto, and that triggers a press. But again, they drop deep, look to block the passing lane, especially the ones down the side of the field.
And they don't want to bang it long. You realize that about Mount Pleasant.
They don't want to.
They'll be losing possession easily, obviously.
Yeah, they haven't had much joy from it in this game, and even Fletcher was lamenting just now that they need to knock it and bring it forward.
Well, it's in the attacking third now. Let's see what they can do with it. McCullough picks it up. There's a long ball to Keslan Hall. It was easily handled there.
Initially good work from Wilson.
Wilson, yeah.
Yeah, good body check there on Keslan Hall. It is a physical sport, a contact sport, and there was nothing doing there. And then his distribution let him down.
Richard to James.
Almost a perfect ball there to Fletcher. A good recovery.
Goalkeeper Paul had to be aware. James probably got away with one there.
He certainly did.
But he has found Devontae Campbell in the process.
And the speed with which Kimani Campbell, who almost picked it off James, got back, knowing that that's where the danger is for their team, and that's where Mount Pleasant has been getting joy.
Well, here's Waterhouse. I think Thomas is losing his footing there in the process of trying to play that ball out wide. Oh, the first touch should have been better from Devontae Campbell, but he does well to win it back. Harvey. Campbell. Oh, almost very good work between Fletcher and Campbell.
Yeah, it was good link up. Harvey was in the vicinity as well, and for a moment there, Waterhouse had gone to ensure that they had equal numbers outside there. But then Mount Pleasant just had another player come in there, and Fletcher came in and created a little overload on that outside. But Devontae Campbell there just couldn't bring it under his spell, but the effort was there.
Now to Thomas. Intercepted there by McCullough.
So Richie on the ball, and at the moment he was on the ball, couldn't find a pass.
Heavy touch from Hall. Picked up by Rafiq Thomas. Finding Fletcher. That's a good challenge coming in from Mills.
I think in the end it was Lane who got that challenge in.
Here's Campbell, tripped up. Free kick to Mount Pleasant.
Yeah, we'll have to see now what will Waterhouse do with in terms of defending a ball to be played into the box. Devontae Campbell there getting the better of Kimani Campbell. That's what he does well. He just uses his pace, dink to or drop the shoulder to go inside and just push to go down the line.
Campbell now needs some attention from the bench. Hope it's not anything too serious after that knock. He says his favorite club is Chelsea, by the way.
Well, they're in a good state at the moment. They're Champions League winners, and you would suspect a youngster his age will be siding with a Chelsea team, much like a lot of others siding with Manchester City. But yeah, has the right to align himself with Chelsea. He's playing some really good football. And I think we do know that the owner of Mount Pleasant is said to have ties in some way, shape or form with Chelsea. So I would
So
want
you're saying that he better like Chelsea for real?
I'm not saying that. I'm not
in
saying he
his
was
interest
coerced to do that, but I'm just making the link that
Right.
that is the case.
Right, of course. I'm sure his parents are watching. Damien Campbell, his father actually played the Costa Cup for Anchovy High as well. Mount Pleasant with a free kick.
So it's in his genes then.
Yeah, it is actually. Fletcher may go directed towards goal, you know.
Just might.
Well, that was the idea.
Yeah, execution wasn't done, but like I said, he's a confident player, and you'd expect him to do that based on what he has done in his last 5 games with 5 goals. And just propelled himself into that golden boot race, still being held by Akwasa Chung, who cannot add to his tally, as Harbourview was dumped out of the run-ins by this Mount Pleasant team, and Fletcher had a hand in it.
He's been instrumental, Jordan Fletcher. Thomas. Ball played inside. There was a slip there that could have proved dangerous for Mount Pleasant.
Yeah, Bradford had just run across the path of Richie and put him off.
Mills. Now the play is being switched to Sule Makala. Harvey. Campbell. Mills. Gary Mills. Isaacs. Swept wide.
Yeah, that was never troubling the Waterhouse goal, and Nash was not perturbed by that one. But again, it was Campbell at the heart of it, and he's mixing it up quite well. He's not just looking to take people on and run down the line. If the help comes in, he'll look for that pass and plays that 1-2 and get round the defender. So it tells you that he has a very active organ between his ears.
McCullough cleared that in a dangerous position. Fletcher.
Yeah, you can see what he was trying to do, just trying to bend that one, use the defender as a shield and bend it into the top corner. It was way off in the end, but based on what he attempted, you know what his thought process was. Gail there would be much more comfortable with what she's seen in the latter part of this first half. Was under the coach from Mount Pleasant early in the game with a lot of balls played in the channel into the half spaces. He would have asked his wide players in Fletcher and Bradford to make some adjustments in terms of how they operate. Thomas as well coming off to give some protection down the flank, and that has turned the tide somewhat from Mount Pleasant.
Hall Oh, he does really well. Keslan Hall! Oh! It kissed the crossbar and went behind. But what a turn that was from the striker. The element of surprise as he turned the defender and managed to get the shot off.
Which a shot, and it's no wonder he had 4 goals this season. And I was waiting, Donald, I was waiting with bated breath thinking you were going to say goal, because it looked like it was going to nestle in the roof of the net. But just getting the better of Wilson there. And I felt on that occasion Nash would have been a mere spectator. There was no way he was getting to that one. But that just goes to show that you cannot. You didn't see much of Hall for the last maybe 10-15 minutes. But when you have quality as a striker, that is what can happen in the blink of an eye. And strikers, the good strikers, they know that. They know that they're not going to be on the ball a lot of times. But they know that the chance will come.
Oh, Mills has picked it up in space. But then he just ran into some traffic there. And absolutely annoyed Finlayson in the process.
Yes. Yeah, Mills, just his touch was heavy. And yes, he went over the ball, Mills. And yeah, that could have been a yellow card. But he's showing that he's trying to play on the mind of referee here, who has a degree in psychology from the University of the West Indies. So he would recognize when the player is just trying to bail himself out. He deemed that.
He's not going to be involved in a group therapy session, though, Dwight. So, I mean.
But on that occasion, he felt that the player was genuinely not trying to harm Finlayson, and as such, he allowed that one to slide.
The therapy would be to convince Nikolai Finlayson otherwise that he wasn't trying to take his foot out.
It might have worked, but he calmed down quite quickly, Finlayson.
Actually. Here they come again. Bradford delivers inside, no problems there for the Mount Pleasant custodian, Shavan Sean Paul.
Yeah, and that's what's not happening so well for Waterhouse. They're going to have to remedy that. Ball goes out wide. I don't think they're having enough runners reaching into the box for the balls into the box. This occasion might have been just one player that had made his way into the box. Yeah, McCullough just did well to body check. And order Thomas on that occasion, as he waited for the ball to come down to bring it under his belt. McCullough knew he couldn't play the ball while it was up there, so just checked him and gave himself time for the ball to go over the line.
So 2 minutes at the end of this one. Not bad.
No, not bad, and like I said, it's a watchable game as well.
Well, we are watching it. Looking for another delivery over the top, and again, too much for Devontae Campbell to do.
Waterhouse looking again to bail from the back and try and see how much they can get an impetus going into the interval.
Howell. That's a sweeping challenge there. Coming in from Richie. They'll come again. Donata Thomas has some space to work with.
Yeah, just too much on that one. Always going to be difficult for Rafiq Thomas to get on to the end of that one. As he had his outstretched arm asking them, what could I do, fly?
Sounds like something that he would probably say, actually.
Well, his gesticulation suggested that he was in that mindset.
That's it for the first half. Not even a second over, that one. So at the end of 45 minutes, we're going to see a goal in this one, Dwight Jeremiah. 0-0 between Waterhouse and Mount Pleasant. Waterhouse, they've been up to the races in terms of the amount of attacks that they've had on goal.
Yeah, they were slow to start, and I guess that is the inactivity that they've had for 2 weeks, not getting up to speed early in the game. It was pretty much Mount Pleasant with waves and waves of attack, and they were breaching this 4-3-3 system, which has a lot of space down the flank. Because they don't have wide midfielders to block those passes, and Mount Pleasant was really executing those passes well and exploiting that. Waterhouse, as we see, we get the second half on the way. They made the adjustment and pretty much got into the game, and towards the end of the first half was the team in the ascendancy, and we'll wait to see how this one starts out again in the second half.
Waterhouse in their neon green shirts, Mount Pleasant of course in full white. The sun was out all first half as well, so I'm sure that would have been draining for the players, to be fair.
That was too much for Campbell to chase. He's a willing runner, but certainly they would have been asking too much of him just now. But yeah, this cooler condition, Donald, hopefully will let us see the tempo of it up a little bit more. Not that it was all bad, but it would be good to see the tempo pick up somewhat. And we know we didn't see any goal, and I remind you as well that when these two teams met earlier this season, it was 2-0 in favour of Waterhouse, and the goals came in the 77th and 95th minute for Waterhouse. So right to the last minute of this game, these two teams, well, at least Waterhouse so far this season, has shown that they will play to the final whistle.
Yeah, speaking of final whistle, 12 of the 18 goals have come in the second half, so very much a second half team, Waterhouse, this season at any rate. Devontae Campbell heads to the byline, does well to keep it alive. Isaac's down with it. Kevon Isaac straight to the keeper, who didn't hold on.
Was backed up well by Wilson, and Finlayson did. Goalkeeper Nash was fizzed at him, straight at him though. It still was a difficult take.
Fletcher with a heavy first touch, still has the possession though. McCullough. Mills. Fletcher over the top.
Yeah, on that occasion there too, only Hall was making his way into the box, so the ball couldn't be played over, and Coach Downs was shouting that he needed players to get into it. You see Devontae there, I mentioned in the first half that even if his technique is off at times, his effort is always up there, and that's what at the professional level coaches love to see. So often you hear coaches give an interview and they're saying, well, it was off today, but I couldn't fault my team on effort, and he's really ticking that box very well, Devontae Campbell. And as we were on the point of goals, Donald, that these two teams can give goals. Both these two teams have a lot of goal scorers all over the park. Mount Pleasant, 8 different goal scorers this season. Waterhouse 7 different goal scorers. And Waterhouse 11 goals in their last 4 games. So there's goals in them.
Almost a mix-up there. Still not clear properly. Fletcher out wide. Thomas thinking of the shot and then ends up skying it.
And they're not a good attack. They were not a good shot there in the end. But as we look here, Thomas thought about it first. Didn't get the ball out of from under his feet, so didn't get a good backlift there, and that would have contributed to him skying that one. We talk about the amount of goal that Waterhouse had in their last few games. Mount Pleasant not too far behind, as you would know. Their last couple of games or a few games, they've had 9 goals in it as well. So everything points to goals in these two teams. But we know with football, when the stakes are high, so often we see teams being set up in a way that the goal scoring prowess of them is muzzled somewhat.
Obviously there's short history between these two teams because Mount Pleasant is a new unit. But in the 6 matches that they've played, Mount Pleasant, they've won 4 of them.
Yes, they have. A lot of those wins, though, they would have come at home, and most of this season there's no home or away game. But yeah, it's of note that Mount Pleasant, they have had the better of Waterhouse. And also another thing that one could look at also in terms of these two teams and their rivalry, other subplots that might be there. Last season when it was aborted, Waterhouse was at top of the table, leading Mount Pleasant by a single point. A lot felt Waterhouse would have won it, but Mount Pleasant was saying that they, based on the momentum, would have caught them, passed them. So,
as a matter of fact, looking ahead to this season, many persons would have thought that these two teams would have met in the final as well. Such was their form last season.
Yes, so other subplots here to motivate these players.
Just the 1 goal is drawing their meetings so far. So they usually produce goals, these two teams.
And I still think we'll get that today.
Fletcher can't quite get there. Isaacs picks it up now. Goes long. That's a wonderful ball to Jordan Fletcher. Stabs it across. Oh, he couldn't reach there. He just could not reach there, Keslan Hall. It's another big chance for Mount Pleasant to go ahead in this one.
In international football, we know so many times goals are scored on the back of a limited pass or a small amount of passes. But that was a raking ball out to the middle of the park. And Fletcher, he latched onto it. And the pass into the box. Not even Hall could get to it. In the end, he scored himself. But that was a lightning quick attack there from Mount Pleasant. But the ball from the middle of the park, that was, at any level, superb. I think it was Isaac who...
It was Kevin Isaacs, in fact.
Yeah, that was
he knows how to string them.
And precision, the execution. So many times players will think about it but can't execute it. That occasion, he certainly did.
Ball spread long. Whistle goes. Free kick goes in favor of Mount Pleasant as the battle of the Campbells continue.
Yes, it's a good feature in the game. And it's 2 youngsters as well.
Isaacs again on it, under pressure this time.
Yeah, that was behind Mills. Over the shorter distance, they're not showing the type of quality he did just moments ago, 40 yards.
Coach Waddy Downs was a little bit upset with the pass that went astray. And kicked it away from the Waterhouse player just now.
He's quite a character.
To say the least, yes. The league needs it though.
It does. In the pre-game interview, he suggested that we should switch role and go to the mic where he would ask me the questions.
I can just imagine the questions he'd ask you. Here's Kimani Campbell trying to make another opportunity here, but trips over the ball himself. Still a chance here. Pulls it across. Oh, big chance! What a save! Was it going wide though? That's the question. But a chance for Waterhouse on that occasion.
Might have been, but Paul wouldn't have known that. And again, it was Fletcher. He was a player in the first half that got the opportunity. As we see here, good work from Campbell.
And then Binns to hit the byline.
Yeah. Thought he had hesitated for a minute. Would have hit the post, you feel.
At least.
At least, yeah. And had it and took a deflection as well that might have taken it away from the target. So both teams coming close in quick succession.
Here's Binns again. Mount Pleasant taking their time as they try to build another attack. Harvey, always under pressure from Fletcher.
Waterhouse really working well without possession here. Donald shifting side to side, looking to block the passing lane. Something we didn't see early in the season.
Hall with the touch to Campbell. Clearance made, picked up by Isaacs. Fletcher is also there. Recycling again, Mount Pleasant. James. Lane. Good work from Bradford. Play called back for the call against Gary Mills.
Yeah, I think Bradford almost dwelling it a little bit too long, but his quality came to his aid there. His good touches there between the feet and just mask it away from Mills.
Step up! Step up! Step up! We are stuck! Bring it line!
Thomas really is a runner and a hard worker for this Waterhouse team. Donada Thomas, that is.
Yeah, he did show up Fletcher there just now.
Nice work from Binns on that occasion too, beating his marker. The referee says play on. Harvey was in the way. Campbell collects.
Yeah, both teams just need a little bit more quality in the final third with their passing. You could say it's good defensive shape or good defensive work for me. Both sets of defenders.
Fletcher with the turn. and the supply line, which wasn't accurate.
Yeah, we just spoke about the ball in the final third, or that final ball. Coach Downs there, he's not pleased with the pace at which his team is moving the ball. He wants them to move it quicker because the pace at which they're doing so, Waterhouse is quite comfortable in their shape. Just moving side to side, not going forward to be stretched for balls to be passed in between the lines.
Campbell. Mills.
Yeah, you could see that one from it left his boot, that it wasn't going to go in the direction that he wanted to. It would have been into all that green area in front of Fletcher.
Well done at the back. Liston James there, just nodding it back to his keeper.
Yeah, a good composure showed by him. Keeper also alert to that. So I think we see keeper coming forward and defenders looking to play them back and run past it. They do. That was good work from both Paul and James.
Isaacs. Seems as if it's a chess match at the moment and both teams just cancelling out each other in the middle of the park, it seems.
And when you have that, it's going to come down to one lapse in concentration that you get a checkmate. And then from that, the king is gone.
Free kick taken quickly. Rafiq Thomas. Inside. Oh, here's a chance, but again, Fletcher couldn't place it either side of goalkeeper Paul. There's a whistle on the play as we take a look on the chance.
Yeah, it was good work from Fletcher. His first touch just took it away from Lane, and there was no way Lane was going to get to it, because as he touched it, he took it to his right side. Lane was to his left, and that took Lane out of the equation, but his shot then was straight down the middle.
Gary Mills Jr. is going to come off for Mount Pleasant. Leonard Rankin is coming on in his stead.
A decent showing from young Gary Mills.
Yeah, especially in the first half.
Yes.
By the way, Liston James is the one getting some attention.
Coach Downs there just trying to keep his charges in tune with what is expected and what is required of them. And there's discussion there from the technical team at Waterhouse plotting their move. They just saw Coach Downs showing his hand with a substitution there of Rankin coming on. Waterhouse just thinking, how can they positively influence this game?
You know, Mills was heavily involved in the attacking third in that first half for Mount Pleasant. Already see that Rankin is coming in and playing in a deeper role.
Yeah, what that will do is allow
Isaacs to go further up.
Yes, and Harvey as well, who's normally up there, but yeah, Isaac will push further up and give them that impetus.
Oh, lovely touch from Shaquille Bradford.
You felt that cutback just put the Mount Pleasant players back in front of him and given more work to do.
Nice turn from Rafiq Thomas. Thomas with the effort, and again, not a lot of power in the shot.
No, and he had options outside it as well to his right, and didn't opt to use it just now. It was Thomas who was, Donata Thomas, who was providing an outlet.
Waterhouse really continue to press and give problems to Mount Pleasant, who appear to not be winning the 50-50 balls. There's a chance. It's gone through. It's Bradford. There's a whistle on the play because the flag is up for offside.
Yeah, that was a good ball. Got on the wrong side of the defender. Bradford was looking to pull the trigger.
James is struggling.
Yeah, and the work from Bradford there really didn't help Coach Downs there, contemplating what type of adjustment he can make if he has to, in terms of James, if he has to come out. Could be the fact as well too, you know, again, the games that they would have played over the last 8 days, 3 games over the last 8 days. We see some movements on the Mount Pleasant bench. So Coach Downs anticipating that James may not be able to continue much longer.
Yeah, the teams are going to take the water break now, but
And it looks like Ricketts, the man that is getting ready to come on. Sani Ricketts could be the player coming in there for Mount Pleasant, but we'll wait and see.
yeah, it will be a like-for-like change if Ricketts comes on to replace James at right back.
So second break there, and a chance for both coaches to try and see how they can give some instruction to tweak a little bit here or there to try and get the ascendancy in this first leg.
It's been difficult for both teams to try and break down the other.
Yeah, it has been. It's really been a tactical battle here. Both teams not willing to give up spaces in between the lines. Not going gung-ho in attack. And why should they? Anyway, it's only the first leg. They wouldn't want to give up the advantage going into the second one. We saw in the first game where Tivoli will go into the second leg a goal behind, still 0-0 here between these two teams. And I feel if it were to end this way, which I hope it doesn't, but I feel if it were to end this way, I don't think these two coaches would have been very disappointed with it. I see Mount Pleasant, maybe they would say based on the pass from Isaacs to Fletcher that came across, and Hall almost got on the end of it. 2 chances for Fletcher for Waterhouse. Maybe they will say, yeah, there were opportunities for both of them to go ahead. However, it would not be Hall lost. So the change has been made.
Yep, it is a Sani Ricketts on for Liston James. Like for like?
Yeah, pretty much the case. The fact that Liston James would have put in a lot of work over the 8 days, and the fact that he was given a nod to go again would suggest that it may just be a step down in class, but we'll wait to see, and whether or not Waterhouse will feel that way and look to give some attention to this Mount Pleasant right side of defense.
Well, no pressure being applied so far as he goes along that channel.
Again, it was Devontae Campbell who was making a nuisance of himself. up against Kimani Campbell and did enough to earn his team a corner.
Here they come. Fletcher. Harvey's shot is blocked. Rafiq Thomas. Well, he almost bulldozed his way through on that occasion, Donata Thomas. Bradford on it. Challenge coming in from McCullough.
Bradford deemed to have handled the ball. I didn't know much about it, but I guess not willing to give them an advantage from that.
Rafiq Thomas has had a quiet game.
Yeah, pretty much apart from some of the early in the game. Not much from him after 5 minutes.
Shane Sharp, though, is on. I remember the days when he was on fire in the Premier League.
Don't give a look inside, don't give a look inside. Turn him back, turn him back. Aye. Step up, step up, step up. Nicola, number 5.
Ricketts.
Elvis, man behind you, Elvis, man behind you. Big step up,
Campbell.
big step up.
Challenge coming in from Thomas.
Always looking to use his pace when the opportune time presents itself, Thomas.
I suppose that he was the right person to keep an eye on Devontae Campbell. Here he is again.
Well done, now push forward. Walk out, push up. Elvis, push up.
Challenge came in hard from Ladale Ritchie.
And as a defender, when you leave the middle of the park,
Ball over the top, looking for Jordan Fletcher. Finlayson did enough. Here's Waterhouse once more. What can they do with this? Ball over the top, looking for Shaquille Bradford. Couldn't quite gather that one.
yeah, it was a good ball over the top and just needed to bring that one down and pluck that one out of the sky. Had he done so, Bradford would have had a good opportunity to run into the box. Richie there, after that crunching tackle there, even his laces got untied. We know that he's a hard-nosed defender and doesn't give much away. One stage in the season picked up a knock and was missing for a game or two, but once he was ready, there was no hesitation for Coach Downs to have him at the back. As not just their talisman in defense, but also their leader.
Another whistle goes. Seems like it's going to be a free kick to Waterhouse.
And just showing the evidence of the fact that the studs did at one point visit that section of his foot.
Kimani Campbell finding Rashane Sharp. Donata Thomas now. Ramon Howell. Here's Davion Binns. Howell. Wilson. First touch wasn't the best from Rashane Sharp. Wilson does well. Here he is. thinking of the shot.
Well done, step, step, step.
Actually went through with the thought. Now it goes the other way. Isaacs utilizing his strength. That's a lovely ball. Inside the hole! The save is made again.
On this occasion, it was Nash who was called into question. We've seen Siobhan Paul from Mount Pleasant a couple of times, but Nash equal as well in terms of keeping this scoreline as it is. It's a good save there, and it's Hall again coming close. But good breakaway. Isaac showing good strength there. And once he picked his head up, the release ball to Hall, who made a run from inside out. And Nash equal to it. Always going to be difficult from that angle. A small area of the goal for him to aim at.
Yep.
But he was going to attempt to do that to try and beat him at his near post. Devonta Campbell did score a goal against Harbourview, against Chambers at the near post. Fizzed it in. Chambers didn't have a chance to react. So often we hear in football that the goalkeeper should deal with everything at his near post, but sometimes the proximity from which the shot is executed just does not give them enough time to react. But on that occasion, Nash was equal to it.
Well, Mount Pleasant, they have a corner kick to work with about 15 minutes to go. Here's the delivery. That's not a bad delivery at all.
Yeah, Waterhouse didn't look like they were clearing that one well, but as a defender you want width and height when you do clear. Occasionally got width, went out for a throw to Mount Pleasant.
Waterhouse trying to come forward now. Fletcher.
I think Rankin recovered very well and helped Richie. Richie did well.
Rankin pulls it back. Clearance made. Donata Thomas, by the way, who was on that runaway trail for Waterhouse.
And it was good work by Richie in defence because he didn't commit himself. He just waited and waited until help came from Rankin. That's good
Howell.
from Howell.
Bradford. Thomas. Lines up a shot. That wasn't too far away, from Damien Binns as he aimed for the top bin.
Yeah, it wasn't too far away. It's a good little move there from Waterhouse. But again, as we've seen from the first half, not enough players arriving quick enough into that 18-yard box. Then well wide. But as the ball is played down the channel, that's something that they'll have to look to work on. See, Waterhouse.
Well, 44% of their goals have come in the final half an hour of the game. Waterhouse, so again, they're a second half team. They're always running under coach Marcel Gale with his instructions. They really started off pressing, and they've been disciplined in their shape, especially when they're off the ball, as you noted, Dwight Jeremiah.
Yeah, they tried to do, like I said early in the season, it was not their forte. They were just too open and shipping in goals, even when they looked a team that was going to win it. Bradford is back to his feet. But yeah, they have corrected that. Credit to Gale, he has worked on that. Some would say he's really improved as a coach and is showing his matching wits with that man there, Wally Downs, who have had the experience in England. But Gale not playing second fiddle in this encounter at the moment. And I remind you as well that we're in the 79th minute. And again, as I said the last time these two teams met, it was 2-0 for Waterhouse.
Bushy Beckford warming up
Goal.
for Mount Pleasant. Maybe he'll come on late this afternoon. Isaacs. Harvey. Campbell is now on that left hand side.
Yeah, he switched side with Fletcher. We saw him do that in the game against Harborview and got a lot of joy.
Harvey. Isaacs couldn't quite control, and Waterhouse will come away with it. Russian Sharp has been asked to give chase. Last touch off Ricketts. Bradford wants to take this quickly. Sharp. Russian Sharp. Binns couldn't keep it.
Yeah, that showed too much to Harvey.
Here's a chance for Waterhouse. Twisting, turning. It's out wide. It's a big chance for Bradford! It's crossed the line! It's Shaquille Bradford again! You really can't take him off, even if that was the contemplation from the bench, because he will come up trumps. That's his 6th goal this season. And it's that man, Shaquille Bradford, yet again.
Yeah, very good play here from Waterhouse. And for a moment there, Mount Pleasant were operating with just 10 players. Harvey was on the floor. Waterhouse didn't show any sympathy. And once it came out to Bradford, there was only one thing on his mind. Through the legs of Paul. He will be disappointed based on his display all game long. But certainly Waterhouse will take anything from this game. And that just trickled agonizingly over the line. And Paul could not gather that one. But again, as we've said, Waterhouse, I just hinted it, Donald, that this was the time when they scored in that first game, pretty much 3 minutes later. But you did say they were a second half team in terms of their goal. 12 of their 18 goals, you said, have come into the second half. And they're continuing that now, make 13 of their 19 goals have come in the second half. So it's Waterhouse to lose from this point because they have the first goal. And they're not the same unit as they were in the first half of the season, where they gave up points from winning position. We're expecting to see them remain resolute and disciplined and organized in their shape without the ball. And they made the adjustment from the early point in the game when they were a lot of balls being played by Mount Pleasant, breaking their lines, going into their attacking third, down the flank. They've corrected that, and they're seeing the fruit of that. Harvey Day look like it's done, Donald.
Yeah, maybe. Try to identify the change that's going to be made now.
It seems like they're going to go with Bradford still. Maybe because of the injury before, or the discomfort he was showing before. Probably not taking too much chances with just 9 minutes or 8 minutes to go. And especially also because I think the fact that he scored even made it more likely that he would come off. It didn't really go the other way because they want him to be ready for the next game.
Siobhan Stewart is coming on. Warm embrace between the two players.
Why wouldn't there be? It's Bradford really lifting the mood of this Waterhouse team.
Here comes Waterhouse. They're attacking in numbers now. Can they get a second? Ball played out wide to Donata Thomas, looking for Rashane Sharp. Sharp holding up the ball. Does have Thomas for support. Decides to use him. Thomas, though, couldn't keep possession. Here's Jordan Fletcher. What can he do? He'll get the throw for his team.
No, it's not. He was the one who booted out, looking to use his left foot to the outside of his instep to play it through to Hall. Got that all wrong. And
Devontae Campbell's day is done.
Yeah, day is done, but he really put in a shift today. Can't fault him on his effort today. Lot of runs and winning the ball when it seemed like it was a lost cause. But in an experienced player coming onto the field in terms of Beckford.
Kemar Bushy Beckford is on. So the final moves being played in this chess match from the sidelines. Waterhouse though still ahead by a goal to nil. Not sure if we should read into it. The first game of this doubleheader as the semi-final stage gets underway. The quarterfinals lost. Now in this second semi-final, the quarterfinals are behind.
Yeah, and a lot was made of the fact that the teams were resting for 2 weeks and would come out cold. But certainly you feel, as I had suggested in another forum, that the playing field is somewhat leveled by the fact that these qualifiers, the teams that had to play the qualifiers or the playoffs, would have played 3 games in 8 days. That's high boot there and a yellow card.
Shown to Sudhir McCullough.
Yeah. Yeah, welcome to the game, Stuart.
He would have seen it and felt it all before, Siobhan Stewart.
So as I was saying, you know, it's somewhat nullified that rest by the fact that these teams would have been heavy-legged and would not be able to take advantage of the team coming from the rest by virtue of pressing or going at a high tempo from the start, because they would have extended themselves so much over 8 days. So I think that is why, and as we've seen in the first game, and we're seeing now as the game we're on, we're beginning to see the fresher team really on the front foot and taking the fight to the opponent.
Quite a few candidates for man of the match this afternoon, you'd feel. Dwight, as Sharp trying to get by a third defender. Now here's Jordan Fletcher attacking the space, trying to supply the pass though. Wasn't accurate on that occasion.
No, it was short and the direction too not good.
Oh, they've lost it. Fletcher is on it. Isaacs guiding it to Harvey. Harvey sends it out wide to Ricketts. Ricketts further upfield to Kevon Isaacs. Needs a good delivery. All along the turf, it was always going to be easy. He was bundled off the ball there. It was an easy call.
Yeah, at the moment I felt he was dwelling too long on it, but in the end just managed to get his body in between the ball and Hall.
So in terms of the names, as we take a look at exactly what happened to Donata Thomas.
Yeah, Isaac just made contact with his standing leg.
Thomas would be a standout. Would be one of the names for
certainly would be
player of the game. Yep.
In the first half, he really put some telling crosses into the box from corner kicks and was always a willing runner in both directions, because we saw when Devontae Campbell was having a lot of joy against Kimani Campbell, Thomas made a lot of runs deep to provide help or to block that channel. So he did well both defensively and attacking wise.
Damian Binns as well, in my opinion, would also be a name on that short list.
For sure, so too Fletcher as
and
well.
That's the third name on my list as well. So
yes.
Good luck, your choice. There you go.
But
here
I've chosen Binns.
Here's Thomas. Thomas with the effort, and it's parried away.
And again, Thomas is making a case for himself, as I've just said, Binns, Bradford. But because of the nature of the game, the tightness of in terms of defensive setup from both teams, in terms of how organized they have been, as we've seen that save again from Siobhan Paul, who has had a decent game in goal for Mount Pleasant. Would be disappointed with the goal that he conceded. But just the fact that Bradford was able to break this deadlock, and a game that was very tactical, I feel, I'd give him that edge.
Stewart to deliver. That's not a bad looking cross, It's still an opportunity for Waterhouse. Wondering if there's a foul in there somewhere as Sharp actually goes down holding on to his face.
Yes, he did, but I think the referee saw enough to suggest that
there's blood as well.
Probably would be, but he should have stopped it once. He saw enough. He did see enough, and so it was for referee Nemhard to make that call. And we know what is said about it in terms of head injuries. You have to stop it immediately. And there he's going across to his assistant.
I was trying to make out exactly what took place there.
Seemed to have been the boot of Binns.
Well, he would have reacted late.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, he would have reacted late because I was trying to...
And then again, because of his... the texture,
Let's see if we can see it here. Yeah, so the... Oh, yeah, so the high boot there.
Yes.
Oh, well, he didn't react late, actually. The studs would have played a part. That's dangerous play, though.
Yes, it was from his teammate. So, yes, but he would not.
So all's well that ends well, right?
All's well that ends well.
Okay.
And I guess because also, I think that the pigment in his skin is not as much as mine as well in terms of the complexion being dark, so rubbed off quite easily there for Stewart. But yeah, it was his teammate.
I thought you were going to highlight some injustice there. We were talking about pigment of skin.
I'm just saying why it probably was the injury was easier on him than it would have been on others, maybe.
Right.
Because I don't think it didn't look like a deep wound.
Of course not.
It didn't look like a deep wound. It was just like the outer layer of the skin.
A scrape.
A scrape.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Definitely. But
that's a lot of bandage for a scrape, though, right?
He'll be fine.
Okay.
Well, they have to ensure that there's no blood present, and
you don't think that he may need stitches afterwards?
I think if he did,
for a scrape?
If he did,
right.
they would have. I think they would have
done it on the field,
taken him off.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're halfway through the 4 minutes of stoppages, although I'm pretty sure they actually begin now, based on the incident.
Yeah, you'd feel so.
But who knows, we have seen some conservative officials today.
Well, Nemhard is not known to be one.
Touché. Can they pull one back? That's a question. Mount Pleasant in this first leg semi-final.
Well, they have some time. You feel they have about 3 minutes to try and do that. 3 minutes is a long time in this sport.
Ball played in outside, and it's put into touch before McCullough could get there. Isaacs. Time for the long throw. Not the best clearance. Oh, there was some miscommunication there. Ricketts left it for Fletcher, or Beckford rather. Neither of them went for it. Here's Donato Thomas. Binns delivers.
It was a poor ball in the end from Binns. Didn't have any pace, didn't pick anyone out.
Couldn't quite make it through the lines there. Oh, Chevron Stewart. Always seems as if he has all the time in the world on the ball. Ball played forward. It's a chance for Waterhouse to make this 2. It was charged down. The shot. The game is now stretched. Hole on it. Cutting inside. Rankin plays it back outside. Rankin. The give and go. Is he onside? He's offside.
Yeah, definitely offside on that occasion. Hall was just labouring to come back out. Didn't get out in time. But also, one thing to point out, with just 3 or so minutes to go, it's uncustomary of Waterhouse in the latter part of the season to be this open. There's incentive to get that second goal, but is that outweighing the fact that you can take a goal lead into this into the second leg? It was just too open for, I would feel, for their liking. Waterhouse chasing that second goal, I think they would be more disappointed here to go and chase it and give up a goal and to go back into the second leg on level peggings with this Mount Pleasant team. It's not much time. You probably look to keep what you have. Not that you don't attack, but be more measured in it.
Sharp kept that one in play and it's played back to him, but too much on it from Stewart. And I think that's it for this first leg. Yep. The referee has seen enough. Waterhouse, they have the advantage. It's a slim one, but it's an advantage nevertheless over Mount Pleasant. Would have been playing their third match in 8 days. And Shaquille Bradford was the man who found the goal. Fletcher was doing his best to be influential in this one. Hall had a couple of chances. One actually hit the crossbar. And Wally Downs has a lot to talk over with his team heading into the second leg come Wednesday. After 90 minutes, Marcel Gale's unit in front. Waterhouse 1-0 over Mount Pleasant.